Tonight, we are so excited to have our first guest with us. Jim Merritt has been a powerful voice in Indiana government for more than 3 decades. He served in the state Senate for 30 years and is a former chair of the Marion County Republican Party. Jim, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
30 years in government. I'll bet you've seen a thing or two.
Yeah, it was quite a ride. And I left about November of 2020.
Yeah.
And after 30 years, and I felt like I could do more outside the Senate than in.
So it's been a full year now.
Yes.
Have you found that to be true?
Yeah, it's allowed me time to think and concentrate on different issues that I ordinarily wouldn't be working. Constituent service for a state senator is really at the hub of everything that individual does. And so without having that as a large component of what I did as a state senator, it's given me time to think and work on some other issues.
Before we talk about that, tell me about those 30 years. What are some of the highlights for you? What are some of the things that you think about, that you look back and say, boy, I'm really proud of that. I'm really glad we accomplished that.
I'm proud of writing the bill that established really the BMV's future of not having to go to the license branch. If you recall, it was hours when you had to wait. And I
do recall.
Yes, and of course the kid's first license plate, the safe haven law, where you could drop your baby off at a police station or a hospital, the Lifeline Law, where we talked 149 of the legislators and a governor that giving immunity to someone that's overserved at a party would save lives, and it has. And working on the opioid issue, bringing 211 to the state of Indiana. I'm very, very proud of that career, and I'm really ready to do more.
You used the phrase saved lives, and I was thinking as you were describing your career, I can't imagine how humbling and powerful it would be to look back at a career and say, I did things that saved lives. I did things that impacted Hoosiers in an incredible way. What is that like for you?
Well, it makes you shiver a little bit with, for instance, the safe haven law. We had a birthday party, and 8 years the law was in place, and we had all the babies that were 8 years old come to a birthday party at the State House. We save countless lives with somebody that is overserved at an event, and we know that actually happened because they did call 911, or they text 911 because kids don't call, they text.
And don't use a phone as a phone.
Exactly, and so it just kind of gave me the shivers that now with the pandemic, 211 was the number that you call to get information, and the state of Indiana is using that now. And I found that in Atlanta, and it was happening in New Hampshire. So it does give me goosebumps to know that I try to make a change or make a difference.
Just wonderful. Jim, you mentioned focusing on other things now that you've moved on from the Senate. And I know one of the things that matters to you is mental health.
Right.
Where are you seeing Hoosiers right now as we hopefully come out of the pandemic? It's been more than a year and a half now. Where do you think our mental state is, and why is mental health so important to you?
Well, first of all, my friends at the Mental Health Association of Indiana, their hashtag is mental health is health. And trying to get it together where if you have a broken arm or you have depression is really the same thing and treated the same way in the way of severity. And I really believe, we're talking about Crosswinds counseling, I believe in counseling. We're on the outskirts of a mental health bubble going on. And it just really, it boggles my mind that we are not concentrating more on depression, on anxiety, and suicide. When all the facts come out on 2020 and 2021, we're going to see a lot of family estrangements. And that's what's so great about Crosswinds counseling, is that they go in and talk to people, and corporations should be worried about their employees with all the stress in their lives, and coming back into the office and having that having that situation where you usually walked your dog at 11 o'clock in the morning because you were working from home. That you can't do that anymore. Maybe you took a jog at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You can't do that anymore. It's a life change, and we need to help people get back into the swing of life, into going back in the office and going to the movies and the gym. And Crosswinds Counseling can offer that incredibly for corporate Indiana and for the 6.6 million Hoosiers that we have in this state right now.
One of the big barriers has been the stigma around going to counseling and dealing with mental health. It's so easy sometimes to hide the problem. It's not like a broken arm where everybody sees it.
Right.
Depression can be hidden.
Right.
Are we dealing with that stigma better? Are we getting better about helping that to go away?
Well, I had counseling. And the first time I went to counseling, I parked down the street because I had a Senate license plate on the back of my car, and I didn't want anybody to know that I was in counseling. And I walked out the door, and I thought, you know what, that was such a great feeling coming out that door. And the counselor was so good that I parked right at the front door last time, because if I'm going to be a leader and I feel good about it, I think counseling is something that everybody ought to commit to. And so the question is where do we go from here? You know, we have the Colts with Kick the Stigma.
Right.
And it is stigmatized. And everybody is supposed to be so perfect. Well, you're not. And I would encourage everyone out there to seek counsel, because we all need somebody to talk to.
Yeah. Jim, real quickly, tell me, what has the counseling meant to you personally? What has it done for you in your life?
Well, it's allowed me to be fair with myself. It's allowed me to think in big rooms and help others. And I have a more of a calmness about my life. And I would encourage anyone to reach out to someone else and talk to them about what's going on in your life.
That is wonderful. Jim, thank you for being with us tonight, being so candid in this conversation, and thank you for your years of service to the Hoosier State. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris.
We'll be right back.